Whether you're a brand new player or a RuneScape veteran, there's one thing that we can all agree on. RuneLite is an absolute game changer. But with so many plugins, it's easy to miss out on some of the best ones. So today, I'm going to show you the absolute must-have RuneLite settings that will make playing Old School RuneScape way better. The first plugin that we're going to be talking about is actually Wasted Bank Space. In the plugin hub, just type in wasted and it's wasted, but it'll come up Wasted Bank Space. Turn it on. All you got to do is go into your bank, and what it's going to do is it's going to show you different items. Basically, it'll show you like an exclamation mark in your bank and showing you what you can do with the items. So let's say you're low on bank space. It'll tell you which items you can store in different locations, such as your house, the master scrollbook, treasure chest, just a bunch of random locations. And it's honestly helped me save literally hundreds of bank space by putting stuff that I didn't even know that you could put inside your house into your house. Honestly, one of the best examples of this is, let's say, the cape rack. If you have all these different capes, let's say you get a 99 and you want to store all your different capes in your bank, honestly, now you can all of a sudden you just take all your capes and you put them in your house, and bam, boom, they're there. Same with the magic wardrobe and so on and so forth. You can store so many random things, your graceful outfit, your lunar robes, and honestly, the Wasted Bank Space plugin allows you to know exactly where everything goes. So if you're ever low on bank space, I definitely highly recommend you check out this plugin. The second plugin that we're actually going to be talking about today is bank tabs and bank tab layouts. Bank tags, sorry, I just said tab. Bank tag layouts. What this does is honestly, it makes PVM and skilling a million times easier. You just have to go into the plugin hub, download it, and then turn both of them on. And then all of a sudden, you go into your bank, you'll see this plus sign in the top left. You click add new tab, and the way that it works is you drag items that are in different locations in your bank. So a good example of this is, let's say I want to do a little chinning and I want to have my basic anti-PK setup on. Basically, you drag the items that you would use for anti-PKing into the setup, and then you click on the tag, and then you can move it around however you want. The way I like to move it around is I have my gear on the left side, and then I have my inventory on the right side. So every single time that I have to gear up for it, I don't have to go and think, oh, what do I need to anti-PK? And have to go through my entire gear tab, and it takes like 20 minutes to gear up, and then I'm like, oh, where are my box traps? Where is this? Where is that? You just put it all inside the tag. You can right click, you can change the icon, you can label it, do all this fun stuff. It's really amazing. And you have your inventory set up, so every single time that you go to do it, you just click on your gear, you click on what you need, and then you click on your inventory, and it's just pretty straightforward. And honestly, it's amazing. It's a lifesaver. It's great for PVM. It's great for skilling. It's great for so many different things. So it's like, oh, let's say I want to do a little rune crafting. I don't have to go and find all the stuff, different stuff. I just click on everything in my bank to do it. All right, so the next one we're going to be talking about is very underrated, and that is going to be Wilderness Lines. The best way I can show this one is actually through Vedion. Let's say you're killing Vedion and a PKer comes and you're like, oh, I gotta run, run. Basically, what this plugin does is it shows you the Wilderness PVM, whether you're in multi or single. And honestly, this is probably one of the most underrated plugins because it allowed me to learn something about Vedion specifically that was so helpful. Is okay, so first of all, let's say a PKer comes, you run around. See that multi-line? Nobody knows about this multi-line. It's so unknown about. So all of a sudden, if you get jumped by a clan, yes, you're in level 39 Wilderness, but all of a sudden, look, I'm in single combat now. Now I'm in multi, now I'm in single. It literally is a lifesaver to, and this is just one of the many examples of Wilderness Lines being a lifesaver. So all of a sudden you get jumped by a clan, you run away, and all of a sudden you go to the top, and they're like, oh, why is he running over here? You run right here, all of a sudden you're in a 1v1, and you have an easy escape, and you are no longer getting killed by a clan in Vedion. It even shows the blue line for when you're in level 31 Wilderness versus level 30, which is also really helpful for, let's say, your Royal Seed Pod teleport or whatever your other level 30 Wilderness teleport is to escape. It's definitely one that you definitely want to turn on if you're doing stuff in the Wilderness. One thing that you might notice right now is my inventory looks really big. And this one is specific for people that like to play on full screen. I usually don't play on full screen, but sometimes I do. And it's called stretch mode. And the way that it works is it basically makes your inventory a lot bigger on your screen. So you see right now, okay, I'm playing on full screen. My inventory is huge, which helps for a lot of different PBM and skilling. I love it being big, but all of a sudden I turn it off and look, it's so tiny. I would have to press Alt to move it around basically. So look how tiny it is. All of a sudden, this is what the inventory looks like if you're playing on full screen and you're not in stretch mode. Your inventory is so small. And this is what I used to play on, and it's honestly amazing. I can't even imagine playing on it like this nowadays because this is definitely also if you're playing on split screen or like non full screen mode, usually it actually makes the inventory pretty big, so it's something you probably don't have to worry about. But if you do love playing on full screen, put on stretch mode, all of a sudden, wow, your inventory is massive. It is a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, it's so amazing, and it's something that I undeniably think you should put on if you're playing on full screen. And moving right along, the next thing we're going to be talking about real quick is animation smoothing. Now, honestly, literally not much to talk about. You just turn it on. Type in animation smoothing in the plugin hub, turn it on. It's something it's kind of hard to show, but it just makes the way that you walk, the way that bosses appear, the way that you skill, just makes it better. It's something I've noticed like a minor difference in, and something I recommend you just throw on just because why not? Have a little bit better animations. One of my all-time favorite plugins is actually ground items. What this does is when you turn it on, you can have items that you highlight. So let's say I drop this anglerfish on the floor. It doesn't pop up. Okay, I can shift, I can color the anglerfish to yellow. All of a sudden it pops up as yellow. All of a sudden I can change the color. It pops up as purple. It pops up as different colors. You can also hold down the Alt key and all of a sudden click the minus sign. It goes invisible. Plus click the plus sign. Oh, it pops up. Let's say you're doing Dagonoth Kings, okay? And you have all of these different weird items popping up on the floor, and you only want to see, let's say you want to see the bones noted. You hold Alt and you put the minus sign on all the items that you don't want to see, you don't want to pick up, and all of a sudden permanently you're doing DKs and it's worry free. You only see the items on the floor that you want to pop up. There's also a lot of different settings that I could go into, but I'm only going to go into a few with it. First of all, make sure you check the box, do not hide untradables. So if you get some untradable drop that's very rare, you always see it. That's very important. You could have the same things that I have checked off. One thing that's very important is I highly recommend you hide under a certain value. What this means is, let's say, okay, how much is an anglerfish worth on the floor? The reason that it doesn't pop up for me is because I have it set to 5,000 GP. Depending on how wealthy you are in game, at least I would throw on maybe like 2, 3K this way that you're going and you don't want to pick up any item that's worth like 50 coins, right? Like, is that just me? You don't want to pick up an item worth 50 coins. So what this does is it hides any item under the value of a certain amount. You'll still see it on the floor, but you won't actually see it pop up. And also make sure you see how when I left click, it doesn't auto pick it up. A lot of people have that on, so make sure that you deprioritize menu hidden items, which means if it's hidden and you see it on the floor, you don't want to accidentally still pick it up. Like, oh, I see it on the floor, and let's say there's 5 items on the floor and you only want to pick up the one item. Make sure you check that box because otherwise you will left click and still pick up the item that you were trying to hide all along. The only thing else I highly recommend you play around with is all of this fun stuff. So basically, you have items that are worth a lot of money, you could change it up from the standard. So like let's say you're doing some bossing content and you get oh, of course, can I not drop my Ring of Suffering? Of course, that was the example I went for. So you can set different colors. So basically, see, I just dropped my Devout Boots. It pops up orange with like a nice little highlight color. You can change the loot beam appearance and a bunch of other stuffs. And I honestly love to play around with it because it kind of gets a little boring when your drops have been the same color for the last, I don't know, 15 years or so. I definitely went a little more into this whole thing than I wanted to, so I do apologize for that. I just really love the ground items plugin. Also, notice how during this CG kill that we've had on the background, there's been a tile underneath where I'm standing. This plugin is called Tile Indicators, and basically the way it works is you have your destination tile, you have your hovered tile, and you have your true tile. So your true tile is the tile that you're standing on currently. The hovered tile is basically you hover all around and it shows you a colored tile, and then your destination tile becomes the same color, or you could change the color of the tile of when you're going to land there. And why is this important? Why is this important at all? And the reason for its importance is it basically shows you what tile you're about to land on. So let's say you're doing PVM content specifically, and you have to do the Wooks walk for Vorkath. It shows you specifically what tile you're going to get to and where. I'll admit it's a little hard to explain, but it's one of those things that once you put on and you do it while you're doing some PVM, you'll be like, oh, I see, that actually is mad helpful. Notice how I'm running agility laps right now in this outfit? I'm not actually wearing this outfit, and that is thanks to Fashionscape. Don't get me wrong, it's not obviously the best quality of life. It's not going to, change anything specifically, except for your sanity, which is an underrated pleasure, I'll tell you. The plugin Fashionscape is so good because there's so many different types of PVM, usually skilling content, that you usually have to wear your graceful outfit for. Or let's say you're doing Temperos, you need your fishing outfit, or you're doing thieving, you need your rogue's outfit. And honestly, this goes on and on and on because there's like 12 different skilling outfits in the game now. The reason Fashionscape is so cool is honestly it allows you to change the way that your character looks. You just click on the little icon right here and you can, click the randomizer button, you can click all these different buttons to, you could look up specific stuff, you could save files, and this will mildly help with your sanity. It obviously won't show to other players what you're wearing, but it will show to yourself. So honestly, let's say you're doing a little bit of agility laps, you can, click that randomizer bar and run laps in a completely different outfit rather than your graceful. The next plugin is very boring, so we're going to be talking about it really quick. It's Entity Hider. You honestly throw it on. The only time I ever use this is if I'm doing Wintertot or Guardians of the Rift. Sometimes there's just way too many players in there, so you just hide others and hide others 2D, and they disappear. You will not see them on your screen. You'll still see them on the mini map, but you will not see them on your screen. It's just something I use specifically for those two mini games because if you're doing it in the mass world, there's just too many people and you don't want to see them. Another plugin that's hella simple and yet so useful is literally Logout Timer. That's it. It's called Logout Timer. You throw it on, and basically there's an idle logout timer setting that I recommend you throw on to 25 minutes. Basically, it just means, let's say you're doing something hella AFK, you don't automatically get logged out every 5 minutes now, and now 25 minutes is enough time for, let's say you can, click on chop tree and go leave, eat dinner, come back, and obviously you'll probably be locked out depending on how long your 25 minutes is. But wait, did I just say how long your 25 minutes is? You know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. The next plugin is a little complicated. I'm honestly not even gonna go too far into it. It's Menu Entry Swapper and Custom Menu Swaps. I'm just gonna basically just show you my settings because explaining this would just be really hard. Basically, it's like, okay, I'm at the GE right now. I click on the banker. Notice how it's left click. That's just one of the many things. So I click on the banker. Instead of talk to banker, it actually just has the first option be banker. It does that for NPCs. It does that for items. It does that for objects. You can go through it yourself to see what you want to swap. It would take a long time to explain every single one to do. So there's also custom swaps if you want to set up specific hotkeys to do specific things. It gets really complicated, so honestly, I'll just recommend you check them out. And hey, where are my fellow collection loggers at? Because this one is for you. It's called Random Events. Basically, it's honestly so specific. It's for people that are looking for the stale baguette. You notify on Quizmaster and Sandwich Lady. Make sure you have both of these checked on the random events. You go into settings, request, focus, put on force. That is literally it. You do that for Quizmaster and you do that for Sandwich Lady. It's very important because let's say you're trying to get that stale baguette. I still don't have. I've been going for it for a long time now. A lot of times I would be, leaving my house, doing something, and randomly all of a sudden it would pop up, but I would leave. So what this does is it forces you to actually go into the random event rather than accidentally leaving a Sandwich Lady behind who could have had that stale baguette for you. The next one is for any player who has ever gotten level 99 in any skill, and that is going to be virtual level ups. Basically, let's say you hit level 101 strength. It'll actually pop up the same way that getting a 99 or 98 or any other level would, which is pretty cool. It's just something that honestly makes you feel a little bit happier whenever you get, a certain level threshold. And for all those true nerds who have maxed, you can throw on virtual levels, which if you notice on my screen now, it actually shows me my real level. So I'm level 110 HP, 104 strength, 114 range. I recommend you only throw on virtual levels though when you're maxed, because otherwise it'll totally mess up your total level. I don't know why oh yeah, it totally messes up your total level, so you'll actually think you're closer to maxing than you are. So I definitely recommend you only throw that on when you're maxed, and one day I will throw that on. The very last plugin that we're going to be talking about today is for all those people who love to do raids. It's actually funny. I wish I could show you better, but I recently went on a rebuild, so all of my items are basic. I sold my whole bank for a twisted bow, so I literally was gonna pull up and show you specifically my tags, but I have no tags because I broke besides the twisted bow. But you might notice that there's different colors. See, that's blue, that's red, and that is green. And the reason for this is actually inventory tags. It's a plugin that helps you so much for raids. Basically, you're going to have to do a lot of switches, so I recommend you only throw on outline so it doesn't, get too distracting. But let's say you're doing your switches and you're going, you're doing your raid and you want to see, okay, all my red items are for melee, all my green items are for ranged, and all my blue items are for magic. It allows you to click the switches super fast, and the way that you do is you hold shift and you go to inventory tag, and then you choose the color. You could reset it, you could pick a color, you could I prefer blue for magic, green for range, red for melee. That's specifically what I like to do. But you could do whatever you want. But basically, you just hold shift, right click, inventory tag, and for each item, it'll allow you to, see in your inventory what you need to switch for rather than actually looking at the items themselves. It helps a lot when you're doing raids, and I highly recommend you throw it on. Anyway, though, this video took a lot longer to make than I thought it would. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you like the video, subscribe for, a lot of different content we've been doing, collection log series, road to max, stuff like that. It's been really fun, and we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, really trying to hit that goal. I hope you have a good day, and I really hope this helped you in some way or another. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time.